why don't we start this day 2 of Liliac with a Sam guitar solo? Hey everybody, my name is Old School Nerd. Welcome in. It is day 2 in the Liliac Days of Christmas. Today we're going to talk about, well, all of you. Now, normally when we talk about people who love particular bands, they're referred to as fans. Well, in the Liliac world, you're going to add a G on the end of that because they're called FANGS. As we know, the Liliac theming is vampire based, and because Papa Liliac's from Transylvania, so it's more than just a theme. It's a family. So I thought I would start this one out. I have so many videos to share that I thought I could talk about stuff all I want, but let's get to the meat of it. Let's start this video out. You guys can enjoy this with me. This is the Sam solo, followed by a tag of the song, a short version of the song Mars, and Vertigo from their show in Baton Rouge. Filmed this from the front railing on the corner of the stage. So hope you guys enjoy this with me. My name is Old School Nerd. Check us out on oldschoolnerd.com. It's got all of our social media posts. The Patreon link for those who want to support the channel. We appreciate every single one of you. And the merchandise store. It's Fang Day. Let's get started. By the way, the whole day, when we weren't eating or working or trying to build the set, sound check, and any time after, Sam always has a guitar in his hand. And he's always working on his work. He's always working on his craft. I think he might have used the bathroom once, maybe. I'm not sure. But every time I turn around, he was there, playing that guitar, or one of his guitars, constantly. That's what it takes to achieve the level of professionalism he has, and his musicianship is definitely there. He's playing guitar solos from some of the best solo guitarists and lead guitarists in the world. You're talking about Metallica. You're talking about, he plays Kirk Hammett and James Hetfield. He plays guitar solos from the likes of Dio. And do you realize that he's playing the songs of the masters, and he does it with a great style and musicianship. So props to you, Sam. Let's continue this on because they're about to pop into Mars. as much as I love Sam playing the guitar solos from great music of my childhood and even current songs, there's something about it when he gets to play his own original stuff. And he really steps out and he goes to places that we need to see more of. He skips through octaves just so rapidly. I want to back it up just a little bit so you can listen to this guitar solo for Mars live. Pay attention to his fretwork, the tapping skill he uses, and his ability to jump through scales very fast in this guitar solo. Let's just do this again together. Here we go. Here comes Vertigo. Watch Ethan's intro. It's amazing. Watch this. There you go. So that was just for all of you, because I know some of you are like, you have a lot of videos from that concert and you're just doing a few. Can you show most? Can you ask? We please ask you to show more of the performances? There you go. Now let's talk about why we're all here. And that's for all the things you don't get to see if you're just a fan of Liliac. There's something you need to understand if you've never seen Liliac live, is that some bands, if you've gone to concerts, a band shows up and there's this whole crew, right? The road crew, there's the guitar techs, the drum tech, the sound guy, the production, the lighting, and all these people. And the band just sits there and they're in the green room and they're eating food and they got their little writer and they're just chilling out and they're not doing anything. And then they show up and they do their sound check and then they disappear again for another 2 or 3 hours and they come back and they play their show. That's not what's going to happen if you go to a Liliac show. If you get the opportunity to arrive early and you can see the venue from wherever you're at and you watch, when they pull up, the family gets out, all the kids, Sam, Abigail, Melody, Ethan and Justin, they get out of the truck, the van, Papa Liliac gets out, and then the FANGS show up. Now, what I'm talking about is, well, let me show you. So I have some pictures that a certain someone, that guy right there, shared with me about some of the amazing people that you're going to run into if you go to a Liliac show. Now, I went to the Liliac show in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. So there were specifically 4 people that I met there that really impacted me. Now, there's many more there, but there were 4 people that I remember specifically because they took the time to talk to me about what they go through, both as fans or FANGS, and the amount of love and time and energy they give to this band. Now, if you're in any of these pictures and you didn't want to be on this video, sorry, the person you talked to is Keith. Because he's the person taking these pictures and he's the one sharing them with me. Now, the people that I met, you can see there's Keith there in the glasses, not wearing the dress, by the way. Keith travels a lot. And he does a lot for this band. There's another guy in these pictures you're going to run across. And his name is Steven. Okay? These 2 guys were there in Baton Rouge, and they worked from the time I arrived until way after I left to go home. You see, you'll see Keith, you'll see Steven working, unloading the truck. Okay, right here is a picture of 2 ladies that also give a lot of their time. Now, you're going to see other people in these photographs, and these are from concerts that I didn't get to go to. But I'm going to let this keep playing as I tell you about some of these people. You're going to run across this table right here. And if you go to the merch table, there will probably be a woman by the name of Lynn there. And if Lynn is there, she makes her own stuff, and she donates it to the family. And so that they can raise money to finish out the home studio in Georgia, so they can come up with the next album and whatever. Some of these photographs will go through later in other videos because it pertains to the kids. But her daughter, there's Lynn right there. She's an amazingly wonderful person. And on the video I'm going to show you after I tell you this quick little story, she wouldn't let me video her on my video, but she's in Keith's pictures because I don't think Keith cares. Another person was Steven, ran into Steven. He spends a lot of time on the road with the band, working his tail off. Lynn's daughter, Dominica, is also, so Lynn will work the register. Dominica will help take all the merch you buy, put it in the bag, make sure you get it to the right person. And she also helps with helping draw out the set lists. She hangs out with Melody and Abigail, and she helps them behind the scenes with makeup, costuming, and the whole 9 yards. There they are. There's Dominica and Lynn right there. So those are just 4 of the people that I met at the Baton Rouge show. But there are so many people that when you show up, they're not making money doing this. Okay, this isn't their jobs. They're volunteering their time, and and let's be honest, time is the most precious thing we have. They donate their time to this band. There's Steve right there with with Keith. So these people work so hard. Now, when you show up, when I showed up at the Baton Rouge show, there were all kinds of other people that were there. There was local sound guys that the promoter provided for the venue, and they helped out too. But what I realized was they don't really have a dedicated sound person or production person that does sound mixing with them. They rely upon the local people. So what winds up happening is the local sound guy or the local production company helps them set up. Then they go through sound check. Now, a lot of bands will show up at a venue, and because they have their own sound person that travels with them, all they got to do is just tune the instruments, maybe do an intro to one song, and they're done. Not with Liliac, because they have to go through almost the entire set. So for sound check, when we arrived, they ran through almost all of their songs completely, just so they can make sure that the sound was correct with the local sound guy. With Papa Liliac in the sound booth, telling this person, okay, when we do this, we're going to do this. When we do this, watch out for this, and da-da-da-da. And they got to do this every place they go. That's hours of work that most bands don't have to do from a sound mix perspective. When you arrive, Melody's helping Lynn and Dominica set up the merch table, while Abigail and Keith are setting up her drums. Sam and Ethan and Justin are setting up the keyboard, the bass amps, the guitar amps, running cables, while Papa Lilac's running around like a mad scientist trying to make it all work out. At the end of the night, I met some of the people from my community, the old school nerd community, and I was like, "How was that show? How was it?" "Oh, it was a great show." Da 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 da. And there was one guy, James Talkington. Okay, he's on my channel. Hey James, how's it going? This is a shout out for you. Who had never been to a Liliac show. It was his first time. He went to the Baton Rouge show, and he messaged me the next day. I said, "How was it? You got home okay?" He goes, "Yeah. I didn't get home until really, really, really late." I said, "Well, where'd you go after the show?" He goes, "Oh no, I stayed. Because after the show, I asked if I could help them tear down and load up the trailer. And I was there until they left." Guy goes to his first Liliac show, and he loves the show so much, loves these kids so much, loves how it's a family and FANGS and a community of loved ones coming together to make these shows happen. He goes, "I'll help you load your trailer." And then he stays into the early morning hours helping them out. I cannot tell you how unique that is. A lot of smaller bands will usually have, you'll have a band, and then the girlfriends of the band or the boyfriends of the band will be selling the merch or doing this, that, and the other, right? For small bands. But on a band like Liliac, it winds up being the FANGS, those members that love this family and love that they're playing the classics, love that they're bringing classic metal, traditional metal into their new original hits. And because these kids are so genuine, because they're so giving, because they work so hard, when your dads and your moms and your grandparents and your kids, you go, "I want to help them. I want to be part of this." And they're such loving people that they appreciate every single one of those people. So for all of you out there, the FANGS, you really showed me something. I react to bands all the time. I react to bands as big as a label can make, Sabaton and Nightwish and bands that are touring the world, but this band really captivated me, not just with their videos, but when you finally meet the band and you realize that they're not just a band on the road. It's a family. And not just Papa Liliac, Mama Liliac, and the children of the family, but the extended family of the FANGS. And it is something that I can tell you, when you see it for yourself, it changes your perception. I talk a lot about in these videos how we're looking at different members of the band and how they work hard and they're still kids, and some of them are still in school, and how Papa Liliac's going to work. And that's tomorrow's video when we talk about how hard Papa Liliac works. But this video is specifically for the amazing people that I met in Baton Rouge. And for all of you that I didn't get to meet because you were helping out at different shows, this video is specifically a tribute to you from me to all of you during this holiday season, because without you, I can tell you personally, Papa Liliac told me that night, without all these amazing fangs, without all these amazing people that they come across in all these different cities, and without them doing what they do, being able to be on the road would be almost impossible. So I can tell you firsthand how impressive it is, how much it means to them. And without all of you, the fangs, what they do probably would not happen, because it would be very difficult to do. Now, don't get me wrong. If you've never met Papa Liliac, he'd find a way, but if you think he doesn't work himself to the bone as it is, could you imagine if he tried to do it just by himself? So for me, old school nerd, to all of you, the fangs of Liliac, thank you. Because with your help and your love, this band just keeps rocking on and rocking hard. And with that, I want to share with you this video. Oh, here we go. One more for you before we end this. Let's look at that merch table. This is during sound check. So no one's there except for I'm just filming all the amazing merch you can buy, and people are still working, setting stuff up, running cables, and they're about to start running through their songs in sound check. Of course, you've seen Lynn on the pictures. I have to not film her because she's like, don't film me. She wasn't ready to be filmed. There's Miss Lynn right there. And we're going to dip down, cross over. Let's go check out Dear Father. Dominica, teeth on top. The people you see with staff on their shirt, they're not paid staff. They're actually from the promoter. They're the local sound guys that help work on the stage and stuff. They've helped set up, and Papa Liliac has kind of directed them how to do. You don't see this because I'm going to show it on a video tomorrow. Papa Liliac's actually behind me in the sound booth going over little things with the local sound guy. We're going to finish playing this song, Dear Father, for this sound check, but understand, this was one song in the sound check. They did most of them all the way through to make sure the sound guy knew what was going to happen. Why? That's a lot of extra work to go through all these songs all the way through again. But they want the songs to be good. They want the performance to be excellent because they want to give their fangs the best show possible every time they show up. These are things that, as someone who's been in a band, who's been on the road, who has been in production before, especially at live events, most bands don't play through their whole set for sound check because they don't need to. Technically, I don't think Liliac does either, but they want to do the best work possible. So they do it. They do it for all of you. Now you get it. This band gives to their fangs, and their fangs give back. It's the most amazing connection I've ever seen with a band and their community, their family. All of you. It's impressive. I'm impressed. I also didn't unmute my mic, but you saw those keys at the end, right? Okay, I warned you. There are no backing tracks. Everything you hear at a Liliac show is live as it happens. I think the only thing that's actually recorded is the in-ears for Abigail's click track. I think that's about it. And, you know, she's playing the drums. She kind of needs them. Most of us do. But yeah, you heard as Justin kind of played that out. I also want to share a little joke that kind of went around. Justin, this is a story just for the FANGS. The most metal thing I've ever heard during a sound check of a rock or metal show is Justin at the end of sound check. Papa Liliac's in the sound booth talking to the sound guy. All the other band members, all the rest of the family, they start going off the stage. Justin's still at his keyboard, and he says this, the most metal thing ever. End of sound check. Rock on!
Dad?
Metal. Anyway, so also, because we were in is another little story for all of the FANGs out there. This is just for me to y'all. You're never going to hear these stories anywhere else. So in Baton Rouge, their venue was in downtown Baton Rouge, which is the venue was great. The Basin Music Hall is awesome. It's a great little brick building, classic bar style. But it's in a section of Baton Rouge that doesn't have a lot of restaurants. It's actually really close to the state capitol. So there's a lot of government buildings, commercial buildings. There's not a lot of food around there. So it was so difficult to find a place to get the kids food because we wanted to get the kids fed. And Papa Liliac has me running up and down the street, another guy running up and down the street. Well, one of the locals that was helping, thank God he was there, goes, hey, I talked to a friend of mine down the street. He's more than happy. I told him there was a band playing down the street. They need to come get some food. And the guy said, no problem. There was a problem. The guy that was helping, the local, went down the street and told this guy, hey, there's a band playing down the street. They want to get some food. Can they come over here and get a bite to eat? And the guy that owned the bar thought band adults. So he's like, sure, come into my bar and we'll get you some hamburgers and whatever. So Liliac, Papa Liliac, the band, myself, Chelsea Maybe, Caroline, who's 12, Justin, who's 14, Ethan, who's still a minor, all walk into this bar to get food. We go through the bar to the back where all the tables are. We go to sit down, and the the server comes out and goes, "Whoa, y'all can't bring kids in here." The guy that was helping us forgot to mention to the bar owner, yeah, the band needs to eat, but the band has 2 minors in it. So technically, they said, we can feed some of y'all, but the minors, Justin, Ethan, and my daughter Caroline, had to leave the bar. In Louisiana, things are a little different than they were in the 80s and 70s. No bar down the street from the state capitol is going to lose their liquor license because there are minors in the building. So they asked, very politely, they asked Papa Liliac, listen, we'll gladly feed the band, we'll gladly feed your kids and everything else, but Justin and Ethan and that girl over there, my daughter, they need to leave the building because they can't be in the building. So Papa Liliac goes, no problem, but we're going to stick together, so we'll just go find someplace else to eat. And the guy who owned the bar was like, we are so sorry, we didn't know. Of course they didn't know, because they were just told, hey, the band from up the street needs to eat. They were like, bring the band. They didn't realize that half the band are minors. So, so technically, this is for all the fans out there. On December 3rd, 2021, Ethan and Justin, who's 14 years old, got kicked out of a bar in Louisiana. They didn't get kicked out, but we couldn't eat there. So technically, yes. But that's okay. My 12-year-old daughter did too. So I can, that's a story you can tell. Hey, look, you know, how rock and roll is that? The most rock and roll thing that happened was Justin got kicked out of a bar in Baton Rouge. Not because he was drunk, not because he was being disorderly, but because he's 14. And the bar owner didn't know. So there you go. That's a little side story for all of the fangs out there. My name is Old School Nerd. Thank you so much for all you guys do. I'm just gonna let this keep playing. But to all of you out there, whether you helped at one show, whether you gave of your time on the road throughout all the tour, as we come into 2022, Liliac's going back on the road again because that's what they do. And I know, just based upon so many of the amazing things that Papa Liliac told me about all the amazing fangs out there and how much they do for them. Because of all of you, 2022 and beyond are going to be amazing years for Liliac because they have amazing fangs, their extended family that help make their live tours possible. Thank you. I'm going to go now. Bye.